Good
Me
vibes.
never could have changed my mind. My father is the most I got, so no matter try waste my time. If I know God, you know me not do it.
Godly energy. You are listening to Hope 103.1 FM Grenada. Hope 103.1 FM. Why listen to anything else?
All right, a pleasant good evening to all the listeners of Hope 103.1 FM. Guys, it is Wednesday. It's now 1 minute past the hour 6, and you're joining me live for the Hope Drive. Yeah, and as you know, on the Hope Drive every Wednesday, I come in studio and do the Hope Drive. Right, a little bit lost for words there, but nonetheless, I know why. So I hope you guys had a blessed day despite all the news that we've been receiving. Yeah, it's quite a bit to deal with just a increase and a surge or upsurge in the COVID cases and so on. You understand? So, guys, I just want to encourage y'all to continue to trust in God. Yeah, continue to depend on God, to rely on Him in these times. He's your Waymaker, He is your hope, He is your peace. He's the Lord who will make a way for you, even where there seems to be none. So don't lose faith in Him. Continue to have hope in Him. All right. So today we are doing a very special program. It's not Link Up Saturday, but my brethren and I, we had a conversation yesterday and we thought, you know what? Why not discuss this today on the Hope Drive? So joining me today is my good friend and brother, Zack Forsyth. Yeah, Forsyth himself. We are going to be discussing Christian character and peer pressure. Yeah, so guys, we promise you this is going to be a very interesting conversation. We are encouraging you to send in your WhatsApp messages to 403 1031. Feel free to do so whenever you want to make your points. All your comments and opinion are welcome. And even if you have an experience that you would like to share just the same, you can feel free to do so. If you're just joining us via YouTube and Facebook, we say good evening to you. For those who are listening on the internet, God bless you and thank you for listening wherever you're listening from currently. And my folks who are listening on the radio, want to say good evening to you just the same. So Zach, you're in studios, so let's do this. Let's get this conversation started.
Yeah, in studio virtually.
Well, you here, you here. You know what? It's you in studio, right?
Yeah.
So
Um,
how's your day, bro?
it was good. It was good. It was good.
Finish cooking or
Yeah, I finished cooking now. You know,
proper proper thing?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet and sour chicken. You know?
Gosh, guys, all here.
Yeah.
Big chef in the place. The man is not
Mm-hmm.
only a musician or an artist; he's also a chef.
Mm-hmm.
What was the woman that finds Zach?
Why have to advertise in boy?
Uh, if you say it so, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
If you say it so. So Zach, we talking about peer pressure first, boy.
yeah.
Mhm.
But even before we actually start the topic, even hearing, when you were doing the intro and stuff and thing,
Mhm.
and talking about the times that we face now, as
Yeah,
Grenada in Grenada, with all the cases and stuff and things like that. It just yeah, it's tough, but in the tough times, that way we should call upon God,
yeah,
Um
definitely.
when our back is against the wall, call upon God.
Yeah,
He will answer because he said, cast all our cares, all that we have, all the things that kind of burden us down, just cast it on him because we
him
cannot carry it. He's the only one that can, carry it. The weight
and
is too heavy for us. Yeah.
help us in
So
this
in
time.
this situation, in this time, where whatever you're faced with, maybe if you have a family member, maybe yourself, and you may just scared about the whole situation that is facing now. Just call upon God, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a very present help in a time of
time of trouble.
need and
Yeah,
trouble. So
yeah,
that's a good little bit of encouragement for someone out there who might be going through some hardship even if you're being diagnosed with COVID, just remember
Yeah.
God is God still, and He's a God that is able to heal. He's a
Mm-hmm.
healer. He's a deliverer. So you can trust in Him.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
understand? He'll never disappoint you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So you ready to jump into the conversation, brother?
Yeah. So you're saying peer pressure, peer
Peer
pressure.
pressure, boy. Peer
Yeah,
pressure.
peer pressure.
And I would like to give a little, definition as to what peer pressure is for most persons who might be listening and don't know what it is. Peer pressure is direct or indirect influence on people by peers. All right. So Isaac is telling me something or not telling me something, but just because we are in the same circle, sometimes I might be forced because, if you don't know yourself, so to speak, and what you're
Mm-hmm.
about, sometimes people around you could influence you to do things, right? So it's basically it's let me just take it over. So peer pressure is the direct or indirect influence on people by peers,
Mm-hmm.
or the effect of an individual who is encouraged and want to follow their peers by changing their attitude, their values, or behavior to conform to those
Yeah.
of the influencing group or individual. All right. So when you see people, when you see people who supposed to behave a particular way, and they are not, sometimes or sometimes you see changes in people, like, they're supposed to be a particular way. One time they act straight as their parents would have taught them, and all of a sudden it's like, what changed, boy? What going on with he? You know what I mean? What going on with her, boy? How come she
Yeah.
moving like that? And that's one of the things that I believe all of us went through. So let's go way back now. Let's make it personal, and also some observation we probably would have observed, things we'd have observed in people we may have known coming up. I wanted to go back to when we were kids, when we were in school, talk about our teenage age and talk about our adults age, and then we have to talk about something else that I ain't gonna mention just yet. So
Okay.
let's go back. You want to share any experience when you were in school, and some of the things you had to deal with where friends were concerned, and
Um.
how you handle them?
So to say, that I'd never been peer pressure. I've been pressured by my peers. So I'll be
Hmm.
lying. You
Right.
understand? In some sort of way, whether directly or indirectly, spoken
Hmm.
words or maybe unspoken words, we are being pressured, by peers and stuff.
Yeah.
But still, I'm someone, because I really too like the kind of big set alignment thing and stuff and thing like
Right.
I like to stay for myself, on a computer, do what I have to do, you know, for myself. And it was maybe as others be able to be easily pressured, it
Yeah.
wasn't like that for me in a
Hmm.
big drastic way. But I remember once, I was in school, boy, primary
Hmm.
school, and I think that one really changed a lot as way how I look as friend because we always hear the saying friends go bring you go and they won't bring you back and stuff and things like
Yeah.
that. One thing about me, like my parents and thing always they say I have my head on.
Hmm.
So yeah, so they just trusted me decision I make, yes, exactly head on. But I remember it had a certain friend, we kinda was not really living close but you know, where I live,
Hmm.
to go home, he has to come and meet his parents. And they go up where they have to go home. But I remember, mother me telling me, well, or they could come home together because me I come home as normal for myself,
Hmm.
you know.
Right. Right.
So I said, alright, well, yeah. So that day, I said I had to wait for him and thing. But it was kind of uncomfortable for me because when school over, I didn't waste time, just go. You understand? So he wasn't ready yet, and I remember that specific day by after when I wait for him and stuff, there was Heinz years ago. Um so I don't know, the alley by I don't know what they call I can't remember how they call it, but by Quap Bang
Yeah.
there was somebody they were had plum tree and them things so on. And yeah, so they before they go home, well he gonna get more friends. So
Yeah.
it's like I know the others, but we don't that close and things for that. So they say, "Ah, we gonna get some plum before we go home and then things." So I was like, wow, boy. And that's not that one thing. I still go with them. Peer
Yeah.
pressure. Yeah, I still go with them, but I seen it beware of dog like people property and thing. I say me, I wanna get caught up in that and stuff. So I did, but I didn't take in part. But I
Yeah.
did.
Where they?
Yeah, but like so we do that. Time to go home, go home. We go in the market, doing what they had to do. And I remember one of them was among us. You know, they say, "Alright, well, they have a family member who live in somewhere in town." There, so I say, "Okay." Dynam, yeah, like it's like I feeling so awkward, so weird. By then I go home already, and so they go. And when they was in they went in the house now. So I can't remember if it was five of us or so. So I
Mm.
go, So the person I know that was one of the family member. They were saying, "Hey, who there?" And the guy tell him, and the guy tell him was him. So he said, "You and who are they?" He said, "Me alone." So from
Mm.
the time I hear he said, "Me alone," and I know all of us there, I say, well, what kind of like something wrong, man?
Yeah.
There's something wrong. But I realized now the person was blind.
Mm.
Yeah, and then he enter like his own family house, and like I see me going some kind of cash thing and take the money and thing. I was like, what? Like, what are you doing here, boy?
So the man Robbie he blind
Yeah,
from
yeah,
man.
yeah. So like, and then I go and I say, here, I go no. He say, yeah, let me go. And from that day, I could never forget that. From that day, I said, nah, boy, me ain't doing that again. I owe to myself now. I ain't following friends and things like that. Although I wasn't taking part,
Yeah.
you understand, but I was involved. And not only that, school the next day. So where they went and picked the plum and stuff, the the person, the owner of the tree, make a complaint,
Yeah.
right? Well, the principal, you know, was like, well, who is the students who actually was they picking the man plum and blah blah blah, thing. And maybe one person, they may get one person, and that one person say that person, and they say this person, and they actually sell them out. Like, well, not sell, but I wasn't doing nothing. I was involved in, my name call. Like, I didn't pick
So
nothing and stuff, nothing.
if
So
it was
even that opened my eyes and said, "Wow,
yeah,
if
if
it's
it was
so,
if you and your name and go call,
yeah, if it's so," and
that's
that
that's
was
what
one.
the folks
That was
says.
one of. That's one of. That was one I could never forget.
For me,
Yeah.
dealing with peer pressure in school, right? And I'll be talking about peer pressure going way back to when we were kids. Um, for me, I could recall as young as I would say boy under 10,
Hmm.
and I had some friends boy, listen, no joke. The kind of things, them kind of crime you used to put on. The type of crimes you used to put on, boy, someone comment, the uphold lies worse than the thief.
Hmm. Yeah.
But for me, my only if I should dissect it and put it in tens from one, well, not one, but since I had sense, to at least close to 10, and then from I would say 10 to 20, and then 20 to 30, right? So I can't reach 40, can't reach 40 yet. So
Hmm.
I could backtrack and look at those stages.
Yeah.
And to be honest, looking at within the first 10 years, me and my cousins and them, for fun, we used to go and pick people fruits for fun.
Hmm.
And it was nothing, it didn't feel like it was I would say pressure per se, but it was just for fun, and it's a thing we did. We used to actually plan to go and rob people Tanya and make log and say, tonight we're gonna call that shot as you would. You're gonna clean up that person Tanya. And the person work hard for the Tanya, and we had ways as to how we used to dig the Tanya and thing, and cover it back, take the fruit, leave the plant in the ground, cover it back so that the individual don't even know after a
Hmm.
little rainfall, if you understand, people, somebody pass there and take the thing, they might just believe that the Tanya bearing. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
the first within my first 10 years, it was a lot about sticky hands. Now, one might think that it was just for fun, but in my early teens now, my dad used to fish. Right? I remember my dad was a fisherman and he sent me to buy fish. And this one time boy, the man tell me, no, he sent me to go and bring fish for a man. I sold the fish, right? Came back and I happy, but he think I bring the fish for the man. So I came back now being real happy. I tell my cousin, he was going on. I sell that fish and I have the money. I'm gonna hide the money on that stone, but she go and tell my dad. And the lesson I learned from that, honestly, is, and there was other times again when I was young. I just saying like in my first 10 years, it was all fun. But what was happening, it was prepping my mind for stealing. And as
Mm-hmm.
I continue to grow and friends try to influence me to do wrong, like to steal, because I've been have doing it for fun in the young ages, it become easier now. You understand? To just say, yeah, let me go. In fact, my friends and me to plan so much wicked things as a young man. I remember, I mean, I don't want people to look at me different. That was my days. And I just showing how innocent things could turn out to be mischievous things in the long run. You understand? And I remember Zack when there was this lady boy, you would go on and pick mangoes and thing, and she would go and tell your parents. And in the nighttime me and my cousins and them would stay up late. Like when I mean late like 12 o'clock and thing. Go up on a
Mm-hmm.
mango tree and pick green mango and just put it on the roof. And I mean, that was some wickedness here. But it wasn't good things to do. But the point was like that's how you deal with people who report you. You understand? So you're growing up with that kind of mindset now. If you realize what's showing you, growing up with that
Mm-hmm.
mindset. And it's a kind of rebellious mindset naturally. Where once you have friends who have the same mindset with you, it's easy to go with them. And those who say no, you tend to say, boy, they're soft. You know what I mean? A kind of
Yeah.
soft thing. And oftentimes the one who's saying no is the one who's trying to say that's not the way to go. But we would see it and in that days, and I include myself because I used to be the one telling friends they go and call the shot. We would
Yeah.
have seen it as you being soft. You know what I mean? You're not ready yet. You can't join the squad.
Mm-hmm.
You check what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
as we continue to grow, we realize that peer pressure changed from these little petty things that probably would have considered petty scene into some more serious things that youths have to deal with these days in school. You
As well as
understand?
adults.
And adults too, but we ain't reached to
Yeah.
the adults yet. We're talking about now. We move from our early ages
Yeah.
from 10, 1 to 10, or
Mm-hmm.
thereabout, or 5 to 10, and we move into when we just gone into teenage age and we start to
Mm-hmm.
move up, And in school, you have friends now smoking, you have friends, even some friends thieving too, they stealing. You have
Yeah.
friends indulging themselves in sexual activities from young ages, and you also have friends who's using obscene languages and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And you you um you know in that position having to hear from friends now, and you're so accustomed being a follower sometimes, if you understand what I'm saying, or you're
Yeah.
because of the stupid things you've been doing growing up. Now you reach a particular age where now you don't create a bad habit within the first 10 years. So now when you reach to within your teenage ages now, and then you haven't created, because the thing is, let me just share that thought. Or is he on it, Zach? You say the thing you do often, right, is who you are. So if you've been doing a particular thing, like whatever it is, and soft on a soft side to you, is it ain't nothing, like just small scene, like nothing, then continue doing it and see what would happen when somebody trying to influence you to do things. It becomes harder for you because you never took the time to start thinking for yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Yeah, what you want to share?
Um. Well, we still at what stage?
Yeah. What it
We
is?
we still at what stage? 10.
We're still within the teenage age, right? We
Okay.
ain't reached to adults yet. You
Okay.
understand? Yeah.
So yeah. Well, like when you see when the older you get
Mm-hmm.
is the most I would say the upgrade the pressure become
Yeah.
Because as you were saying, when you were small, mainly like people at a young age, growing up, like they home good, the friends and say, watch, let me go, come on, let me go and make a lamb, let me go and play like a football or so or something. So,
Right.
that used to be basically the kind of, as small growing up, but as you go older, there's the alcohol, there's the
Right.
smoking, there's the, this and that and the other. And so it's like as you go older, it's like more the pressure become more and more and more and more. Because if like someone start off small,
Hmm.
the pressure with the people, let me, as you was saying, let me take a little plum or take a little this and the other. And then
Yeah.
as they go older, the plum might move from mommy pause, and then from mommy pause to you grow older, you might be from mommy pause to a store, and, and stuff because
Yeah.
you always, it's like the flesh always have to feed that flesh, it's like
Yeah. But
yeah.
you say that from mommy's post to a store, and the thing is, parents have a responsibility to pay attention to their children. You know, there are things that you did not teach your children, and then they come doing it. You have to find out where they get that from and break it out of them instantly. And when they practice things home that is bad for them, parents have a responsibility to break it out so they don't continue with it. You understand?
But then you have to kind of not really to be manage the company they are on too as well. So because that way the pressure comes as well.
Right.
The people there, and then build their self-esteem and stuff as well.
Right. Right. Okay. So let's look at this. Let's just take this question here from our brother. He say, is peer pressure a youth issue or it happens amongst adults? Well, it does happen both ways. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? But what do you think, Zach, is a reason for person? Well, should we say that we could look at it from two angles? Because if we look at the portions of scripture that we have here, and let me highlight one to begin with, right? And for those who are listening to us on the radio, we'll read it out. All right. Go back to what you spoke about when your friends and them tell you, watch that, let's go and deal with the plum in the alley. The Bible declares in Proverbs 1:10, my son, if sinners entice you, consent thou not.
No.
All right. So the thing is, in the world we live in, there's always going to be pressure coming from all different angles. Whether you are a young adult, whether you are a teenager, whether you are an old person, there's always
Mm-hmm.
somebody speaking. You understand? Now,
Yeah.
we have to look at it in the angle like, okay, can someone, can someone, can someone tell you, here what, Zach, let's do this good thing, because there are people that need to know who to follow, who to listen to, and who not to listen to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are persons that will entice you to do wrong thing. Obviously, a sinner ain't enticing you to do nothing good, right? But you
Yeah.
have to know and choose your company. Choose your company. The Bible says again here, Proverbs 13 and verse 20. He that walketh with wise man, what will happen? He shall be wise,
Yeah.
but a companion of fools shall be
Food shall be
destroyed.
destroyed.
Right?
Um, Question, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about like the youths and among young people, but well, I don't marry as yet. So as a married man, right? In
Yeah.
terms
Yeah.
of like husband and wife and stuff and things, like how peer pressure work there within even marriage.
Within that circle,
Yeah.
when you stay within that circle, can you jump ahead to way past adult? Well, you're reaching
Oh
adult, but let's go. Let me check
no, no. Well,
that.
the question was asked. The question was asked. If it's among youth and adults as well,
Yeah.
right?
You
And
asked it.
yeah, because okay, so you are married. Well, I know me, as a a unmarried person.
Yeah.
So within like the marriage realm, like within home itself, like Is it?
Oh,
Yeah. So
would
is
you
there
think it's
any
pressure
peer pressure?
between you and
Yeah.
your wife? You mean like your wife trying to
Yeah.
tell
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why I
Our
was
husband thing.
why I was getting at is this, right? No, you're talking about company, right? There.
Mm-hmm.
So if your wife is good company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Eh, if your wife is good company as you have here, or this portion here, if your wife is good company, right? Then she advising you to do something good, or you advising her to do something good, vice versa. It's not a problem. Yeah. Do you think you could be a pressure to somebody? You see, we can't always look at it from the bad side. Eh? There's also a good side to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because if you're keeping good friends and you're working with the wise and they pressuring you by the way they live their life, right? It's admirable. So silently you could see the passion that is coming from their life for God and for people and trying to do things right. Unlike being with a believer, be it your wife or your husband or just a friend in general, who supposed to live a particular way, supposed to be showing the fruits of the spirit. You understand? But
Mm-hmm.
every opportunity they get is to see how they could scheme and how to work around things. And I was trying to influence you now to work around things. All kind of ungodly thing. Taking all kind of bribe and doing all kind of nonsense. You can consider that to be good pressure coming from a peer or your friend or whoever it is. But if it is somebody making your boy want to walk holy and when the person speak to you, you can see the person is genuinely caring for you. You're looking at fire. Because, boy, the Bible talk about some woman and some man. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And some women that men married to could bring them to ruin and just the same, some women. Because think about it like that, right? Jane is an accountant. She working. Wise girl. She's well accomplished. You check what I'm saying? Good evening to you, my good friend Natty, Sylvina. I see you. Good evening to you too. So Jane is an accountant, Zack. She married 4 years to Tom. And what Tom telling she now, Jane, you're dealing with the money. So he was saying, you must know some tricks. All you have to do is take a little extra. You understand? Just find a way to get a little bit so that they wouldn't notice. Fabricate the documents and so on. Or you would say that Tom is being a good influence to his wife Jane. And it may not be with a money thing, and it may not be in that particular situation. But there may be other things that a wife or a husband can say or do to pressure their spouse, you understand, to make bad decisions. So in that light is bad, but the same way the wife could be a good pressure on the wife and the husband, and likewise or vice versa, and saying to you, well, listen now, we have to pray about everything. Everything we have to pray, we have to trust God. Nah, you can't do that. The wife want to make a decision, and you as a husband have to look out for the wife to make sure you tell the wife, no, babes, no, don't do that because this ain't gonna look good. Because sometimes what she feeling she might have reason to justify what she's feeling and looking for you to be the one to correct her and steer her in the right direction. Instead, you just go and argue with her and then something stupid happen after. So two is better than one only when
Mm-hmm.
one is looking out for the other. Two is not better than one when one is trying to lead one down the wrong path. And it goes across all ages, not only when you're married or single. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
long explanation, but
Yeah. So okay. So in marriage life and stuff. Okay. So for example, um, normally y'all praying every morning and stuff and things like that. Alright, you get up in the morning, you pray and stuff. And to you as an individual, you say, okay, morning and night and stuff and things. So the wife say, watch, I find we put more, time to pray. Morning, lunchtime, and night. You
yeah.
understand? So to you, but whatever. All right, but to you, so you would see it as a pressure, like in terms of in a good way or a bad way, also because it's prayer.
Well, the Bible say pray without ceasing. First of all, they think about what the wife trying to accomplish. But
Mhm.
at the same time, based on the nature of your job or what you're doing, sometimes it might be difficult to do what she asking. So I believe now that's where time for conversation comes in. And if one person is saying let's get closer to God, and that pressure is there, that's a good thing. At least she not telling you, let's not pray so much. You understand? We pray this morning. Why we have to pray to go and sleep? So why we have to pray midday? You check what I'm saying? So she's
Mhm.
saying no, what she's saying to do. And I wouldn't even see that's pressure, but just saying let's get closer to God is a good thing. You check what I'm saying? Yeah.
Because the reason why I said that, because I just say in the definition, influencing someone, um, individual who encourage and
Mm-hmm.
want to follow their peers in changing their attitude, values,
Yeah.
behavior,
And
and stuff
moral.
and things like that, moral and stuff and things like that. So at the end of the day, changing your attitude towards certain things, changing your values, towards certain things and stuff and things like that. But you see, everything have to be in line with with God. You
Right.
understand? And so at the end of the day, everything have to be in line with God. And we as a Christian, we know how we stand and we know how we supposed to live and stuff and things like that. That's why you know we're of this. We don't have to act as the world, you
No.
know, and stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to stand firm, as a Christian, and stay grounded in God, and and not like fashion ourselves in worldly things. So like, so at the end of the day, if it's something that can encourage us and can build us up, you know, spiritually, physically, you
Mm-hmm.
know, in things of God, well
Nothing,
then,
nothing wrong with that.
yeah,
But
that
the whole
how.
idea is that you have to be able to know when the peer pressure that is coming your way, regardless of your age, yeah, regardless of who you are. You have to know what is pleasing to God. We went back to persons now cussing, right? And you come from a home, and you came from a home where your parents don't cuss and thing.
Hmm.
Or sometimes they had a spot, and I can remember that your parents cussing you, but you can't cuss. They
Hmm.
cuss in the house, but you can't cuss because if you cuss if you use any obscene language in their presence, your tail gets in it. You understand? But why is it that they, as parents, must do or preach what they in practice or want you as a child to do what they are not doing? Yeah? And you were sharing with me yesterday, Zach, an analogy in school with one of your friends.
Yeah, but
Never
before that,
introduced
someone asked a question if
mm,
if peer pressure can be either
positive
positive.
or negative. I would say yes. What you find?
Yeah, yeah. But you see too. Yeah, yes. It
Positive
can be positive.
influence, positive influence or negative influence.
Yeah.
Somebody could influence you to do something positive, and that's nothing, and that's what we want, and that's what people should be doing. You understand? And also, you may have other thing. So my partner sent a message on the WhatsApp, right? So he's saying, so is society also a means of peer pressure, Zach? The society that you grew up in, the things that are happening. Do you think? Let's go back to August, right? Let me just use August as an example. No, you're in a particular parish, and we ain't getting political or anything like that. You're in a parish where people playing job, right? You're real itching to play a job in that society, right? And you ain't supposed to, but boy, your friends say, watch now, boy, we don't care what they say. We go down and play any oil today. You understand? And then I believe what happened is like people now in that group, we have so much of them in that group, and some of them are friends. And a call was made to one, and a call is made to the next. And before long now, you see a whole group of people doing the same thing. Yeah. I use that current situation to explain it a little more easier because in other parish in Grenada, you didn't see other persons playing jab to that magnitude. Maybe they did, but to that magnitude, you didn't see that happen. You understand? But it was a
Mm.
community that decide, here what going on. This is what we doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and you have other things that could be happening in a particular community just the same or that could influence people, you know, to to do things, man. To do things that are not pleasing, that's not right. But if somebody would stand and say, um, we stand for righteousness, we want to please God. No, this is wrong. And you have plenty persons speaking the same thing, not saying that you wouldn't have a few persons trying to oppose it, but the more who stand for the positive side, hopefully would look better. And those who are trying to defy what is not supposed to be they will look off, they go song off. Just like when somebody who you never hear cuss in your entire life, obscene language come from their mouth. Can you imagine, Zach, one
Mm.
day speaking to your pastor and the man let out a F sharp? What would you think? Eh? What would you think, Zach?
Um. Firstly, like if someone who actually even play a kind of major role in my life, and I
Mm,
look up to them, and
yeah,
they encourage me and stuff and thing, and hearing they use that some kind of words or so, it will question the way how I look at them
yeah.
thereafter, and maybe whatever they tell me after it. I mean, I really take it in as how I used to take in things before. You
Mhm.
understand? And maybe easily I might phase out to be, it may easily I might be phased out,
Yeah.
but like as I was saying with peer pressure, yes, I'm just going back a little. Yeah, it could be both negative and positive, but when it become positive is when like it encourage you, like
Hmm.
in doing good. It push you to grow, you know, as a human, humanly, spiritually and stuff and things.
Yeah.
Once it bring growth, and once it not bring positivity, once it bring something good in your life,
Right.
then we should classify it as good pressure. Once
Yeah.
it bring damage to your life or damage to you as an individual, then
Hmm.
yeah,
So peer
and
pressure
and
is a real. Mm.
and then you, well, as an individual, you have your moral, you have your value, you have what you stand for. And
Oh,
as
yeah.
Christians now, we know as Christians what we stand for. And if something that goes against our, it pushes us or it pressures us, like appears to go against our belief and go against our values and what we stand for as a Christian, then it's negative.
Yeah. So let's take in a comment from one of our viewers here. She said, "So as Christians, we need to really stand our ground and let the people who associate around us to respect us. All right. Um, we tolerate the indiscipline so much that the unmannerly is unbothered in doing stuff around us. Yeah. I think
Mhm.
Zach, we could go back to when we spoke about like persons who comes around knowingly who you are, and they start with a thing. Let me just bring it to this point. So a client called me one day. She was upset about her matter, right? No, she don't know me like because it's a company I do business with, and she's just part of the company as an employee,
Yeah.
right? So she don't really know who I be. She just see me and probably have her own um ideas of how she could communicate with me. So she start now and using some F sharp and some M sharp or F or M minor. You understand? I say, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Stop, stop. Do not communicate with me like that. I don't appreciate it. That's not how I speak to people, especially when I'm doing business. So she freeze,
Mhm.
right? And she said, oh, sorry, sorry. I just upset about the matter. You see, what happened there was I was able to stop her before she continued because if I had allowed her, you know, I drop clients because they don't know how to communicate with me. And I tell them about it and they would apologize sometimes because they figure they're so accustomed using their language and so on that they can just drop it on whoever they feel and whoever they please. People have no respect these days. They walk into your place, Zach, and you as a believer, you know, you sitting there and a man just dropping them. You have to say something, right? Because tomorrow they might bring another thing because they're speaking slack around you, and tomorrow they would come and bring something else to you because they figure your ears open to hear whatever they say. You didn't tell them nothing, you know?
Mhm.
So they would come tomorrow and say, well, what should I? We drink a beer. Somebody tell me today they'll buy a beer for me. I say, sorry, I don't drink beer. You
Mhm.
understand? I say, buy a cake or something, but I don't drink beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And many times, like as I was growing up, I remember um friends, for example. Friends coming to school in my teenage age, close to my adult age, and they actually some of them smoking weed because of how they grew and where they come from. You understand
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Some of them they're trying to buy beer and drink after school. No, the thing is, I grew up in a community or society where a lot of young fellas used to smoke weed. You know what I mean? And you have their parents smoking weed and smoking and drinking. That's just the norm. The society is growing you up. The community that you come from is growing you up. And if the trend has been like, okay, yo, weekend party, have some sex here, drink some beers, knock a two dominoes, cook a pot on the side of the road, and it's considered fun. Yes, you could say fun. But there came a time in my life when I had to look at what's really happening and say to myself, if I continue down that path, I might end up the place I want to be. You understand?
Mhm.
So when I disassociate now and I step aside, them fellas had the worst to say. Like, what you trying? First of all, we ain't seen you. You're hiding, you ain't coming on the block. Because in my mind, I start finding purpose and I want it to be different to what I see happening. And I realize if I continue going around people like that, it's the same thing every day, same thing every day. Eventually, these fellas, they end up having a child that they didn't even know how to mind. And they have a next child and they don't even thinking about life. So when you stay around them things, it tend to make you feel that's the way how life's supposed to be. Yeah? And we are called to at some point I feel like every human being should start thinking about themselves deeply and start thinking if that's the way you want your life to be. And start making the choices to not be influenced by peers. You know, it's hard, eh? Easier said than done when you're young and you're involved and it's fun for you and man come back and you're talking about whoa, we had real fun last night. Or you do that. Even think about fighting and so on. Have you ever been in a fight, Zach?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Was it a case where you've been in a gang fight?
No.
Well, I've been in a gang fight before. You understand? And let me tell you how this does go. Talking about peer pressure, we still have to go into character just now. But let me just walk you through that. So I in one school in the country, I go into Centros. I have one friend going to PBC. That friend now say to me, listen, like to me, when you line me with a PBC or GBSS boy, as a man going to a country school, it's like, yo, you in deep. You're rolling with the heavyweights. You understand? And my virgin said to me, yeah, Sabi, walk with a tool. We're going to convent garden party later and have some men that have beef with us. Mind you, I don't even know the names of many of the other guys. You understand? I only know one person. And he said to me, walk with a tool. So I go and I get my mother, I speak and I sharpen it and I shove it in a little pocket. The police look at me looking innocent, going to the garden party. Let me go inside. Party done. We go down by Ritz Cafe. You know, you used to have a lot of fight and thing down there. And I remember now, right, sitting down under a tree, me and a fella that I don't even know his name. That to show you how stupid you can be sometimes. and how you could end your life and make some stupid mistakes that could cost you the rest of your life. You understand? And I with friends, my partner with the friends and them, and I sitting there waiting on them. They're going to get some pizza inside. And then I see another gang of men coming, right? Amazingly, the gang of men don't know me, so they only know one man, and they thought the guy was for himself. So they left, and the guy came under the tree and started fighting with the next man. Pull out a big knife. So I sit down there looking at that. I don't know what gets into my head. I pull up my tool, jump on the man back, and start to carve him like ice. You understand what I'm showing you? The man got up, he run. The fellas of them who I like me with now come back outside and say, yo, I say, all you know what happened there? No. The guys are like, what happened? I say, boy, the man come and fight with the virgin there. I can't say the man name up to this day. I don't know the guy name. You understand? And I said, well, here what going on? I carve the man with the eye speak. Them fellas say, you do that? I said, boy, yeah. They say, nah. The analogy is the guy came with his knife. He cut the fella in his hand. Mind you, I joke my one supposed to be partner in his hand, right? In the elbow by here, right? And them fellas gone. So let me show you. Let me jump back a little bit because just showing you how stupid we can be and how people just get themselves involved in things that you could end somebody's life in that situation. The police could have do an investigation. You understand what I'm saying? And today I could have been in jail for taking somebody's life. All right? I will show you something. So in my teenage age, that is right. So skip forward a couple months. Them fellas, well, the guy went in the hospital and so on. He had a report next day, he all right and so on. School, they trying to figure out what happened. None of them boys didn't believe me still today that I did it. You understand what I'm saying? That he say, But Zach, then a couple months later, I go into a party and I standing in the party and a man come and tell me, yo, somebody looking for you. The man say, you're joking. I don't know who the person is, so it could be anybody standing by me. And I stand in my God, I stop dancing, I have two bottles in my hand looking around like a stupidity, trying to find somebody. And then he hit me. Nah, you have some bad friends. You need to leave them alone. You understand? So right there and then, I stopped liming with his friends. And they couldn't understand why I stopped liming with them, Zach.
Okay. So quick for me. As you were speaking, I remember too an incident happened with me in primary school. Me and a guy, we kinda fight. We kinda fight in class and stuff. And after, like maybe he wanted wrong too, based on what happened in class. So just outside. And remember, anytime I finish school, I leave one time.
Yeah.
So you say, alright, well, based on what happened inside the class, like he may feel bad and stuff and thing. So you say, alright, I'll wait for you after school. To be honest, I was brave on them things, so but first time somebody actually threatened me like that, like so I was like, I delay in class, I pack up my book slow. People say, well, the bad outside waiting for us. So I actually went outside and he was outside waiting and I was there and they were just talking and stuff. But we didn't fight, we didn't start fight. The whole outside people who was outside started about fight.
Yeah.
And just automatically we start fighting.
Just so.
Just like that. And easily so people can be pressured. But it's the thing is, is knowing, like I said before, knowing what you stand for and standing firm in what you stand for, and what most important, because someone could come to you to tell you, look, take a pull, and someone who will you're not accustomed smoking, you never smoke in your life and stuff and things like that. If you're really grounded in what you stand for, if you're not shaky and stuff and things in what you stand for, then
why the parents taught you, because sometimes the parents taught their children not to do certain things, but the kids now they just figure they friends, they want to please friends. You understand?
but even if
Yeah.
but even if your parents can teach you, but it's still individually, it still comes on you as an individual, whatever teacher your parents teach, the moral, the value they teach you, if you really cherish it now, and wear it, like no matter, because people might say easy said and done, no matter what people come Also, in life, some people will come with you with certain things and you refuse it.
Yeah.
You understand? You will accept certain things, you will refuse certain things. And the thing that you accept, the thing that you refuse is that whatever the person bring with you, you don't match in your character, you don't match in
Yeah.
your,
And you
what
just
you
know.
stand for, what you
Yeah. And
stand for. Whether but it could be good, it could be bad, but
bad.
you
Yeah.
don't
It's
represent what
not
you
who
stand
you
for.
are. That's
Yeah.
important to get
So
into
so
the
as a
whole.
Christian, we know what we actually stand for. We know
Yeah.
what we actually, how we
We are
supposed to
how
be
supposed
live.
to live. Yeah.
Right. So and then when people come to us, it shouldn't like affect our character as a Christian. It shouldn't
Yeah.
affect
As Christians.
our yeah our
Hey.
role as a Christian and stuff. Because the Bible says, let our light so shine before men, that they may see our good work and glorify the Father which is in heaven.
Yeah.
So we is
All of
that
the
light.
glory
We
for God.
represent Christ now.
Yeah.
We represent Christ just the same way, and sometimes it has been hard at times with certain things that people bring to us, certain
Mm-hmm.
pressure that people bring to us. It will be hard at times because at the end of the day, the devil know how to work with us. He won't come with something that we know we could actually bypass that so easy, you know. So the devil will come with certain things. So sometimes, like as a Christian, maybe they're struggling with certain things, or maybe they didn't have certain things, and sometimes people by you didn't have, let me go and do that now to get certain things that you have, and like it's like you really, really do have, sometimes. So for certain Christians, they will say, okay, well, God is my provider. No matter what, I will trust
Mm-hmm.
in God. And
Right.
some will watch at the moment, at the point in time, they can't think about it. They'll say, all right, but yeah, let me go.
So
And
you just jump down into the next topic we have to discuss. You have a couple of minutes to do so into character. You understand? Because when one presents something to you, what you stand for, your morals, who you are, all right, um, your moral or the qualities that distinctively or that is distinct to you as an individual, the things that you know is important. Mike have a song for that. God, I want you to build the character. You
Mhm.
understand? Renew something, renew the I can't remember the line, but at the end of the day, you have to know who you are, know what you believe, know whom you believe, and how you're supposed to live. You understand? The thing is, if you get used to being obedient to God, when someone brings um arguments to you or try to shift you to do things that doesn't please God, right? It will make you feel how you would know your spirit man will come alive and say, nah, that ain't sitting right with me. That's not who I am. So for young ladies, young men in relationship, um, planning to get married, and you have as we spoke about last week, what it was like being a virgin until marriage, for example, and you have persons trying to influence people to go down a certain path, all because they're already there. You not there. You made a plan, or you have it in your mind that you're gonna stand your
Mhm.
ground until a certain time. You want to be obedient to God. That takes priority. You want your light to shine. You want to be salt. You
Yeah,
understand? You want to be
yeah,
able to have good morals and to stand your ground. And then
yeah,
you have persons trying to shake you. But Zach, let me talk about this little thing before we jump down into that, because I can't help but hold that one back, right? So let's look at a simple scenario. You're going to a line, or Zach, you're coming to a line. When you come into the line to pay your bills or whatever it is, you see me about second in line waiting to pay my bill, right? You come, there's about 20 persons in the back of you, in the back of me, and you see Sabi up front, boy. What you say? Hey, look Sabi there, boy. So you bypass everybody, and you come up and you say, Sabi, watch, pay that bill for me, boy. And you stand up right on the side, waiting. Now, that's a thing that has happened regular in Grenada. Eh? I know about other parts of the world, but I know it has happened often. People saying they holding space for people and thing. As a Christian, right? Do you think that that is right for him to do?
Um, in certain situations,
Yeah,
in certain things, like, well, as you explained, if it's someone like pregnant and they now come in the line and stuff and things like that, if you know, you could actually, based on a certain situation, right?
yeah.
But yeah, certain times it could be wrong just the same way.
Hmm.
Um, because and that happened a lot of times, and then it bring a lot of dispute and stuff and things like that, because I
I don't know
see it
people.
happening in
Mm-hmm.
in in lines and stuff, and other people in the back, this person don't come and blah blah blah, and
Yeah,
stuff, and it bring a lot of dispute and stuff. And then now, as a Christian too, especially, even your Christianity character could be at jeopardy for that, and stuff and things like that. Some people who know you as a Christian know they will look down to you, and then they go run them out, as a Christian, this and that and the other and stuff and things. But I know you bring that example, but I just wanted to just put in that there as well. You know, um, just quickly, um, certain when we are talking about peer pressure and stuff, because as you was giving you an example, when the person called you and stuff,
yeah,
sometimes it's hard to do, and sometimes, like, I fall victim of it just the same way. When people come with us, with some kind of sugar talk or something that kind of affect our standard or affect our belief and stuff and affect our character, we should stop them one time. Or
yeah.
sometimes we compromise as well, and we stop them,
Right.
because sometimes we just give one avenue, and
Yeah.
then one footing. Sometimes we give the devil one footing, and you just take the a
A
whole a
yard.
whole chair,
You
a
give
whole
him a,
chair.
a
Yeah.
yard.
So that's why, when somebody maybe smoking, or sometimes they can't come and ask you, look, take a pull. They know you're a Christian already. They can't come
Yeah.
ask you take a pull. They can't come ask you, look, do this, do that, do that, because they know where you stand. Even sometimes when they use that obscenity, they say, oh Lord, sorry, 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 because they respect you as a Christian. They know where you stand as a Christian,
But
and that,
but for
all in
those
that.
the point I'm making, for those who don't know, you have a responsibility to let them know that it's not cool.
Yeah,
The
so
question,
that was
yeah,
saying, you tell them as it is. Sometimes it'll be hard to not tell them as it is at first, but sometimes want something, and that was kind of getting to them. Want something like, you know, bring and affect your character, and affect your moral, or what you stand for. When they come at first, you should give them the stop one time. And
one time.
people respect you. People will definitely respect you for that, because sometimes we as individuals know, when we know, all right, well, we having a conversation with somebody, and based on the conversation we have with somebody, if they accept certain things, well, all right, if they accept that, you know you could do it again, you could do it again, you could do it again. So what you accept,
Mm,
what be careful of what you accept. Be
right,
careful of what people bring to you, what people say to you, just as well, because it's just like, it's like a seed that can be planted, like a weed that can be planted in your life where it's not supposed to be, and
right, right.
where it shouldn't be. So give people a stop one time. But as I was talking with these things, with what example he has given, sometimes these things can bring a lot of dispute. These things can bring fight. These things can bring a lot of stuff.
We
And
saw,
a
we
lot of
saw,
times we do it as Christians.
yeah, we saw a lot of that during COVID, in 2020, when the line things and people, who come first, persons didn't even care about that, and there are people who saw people they know and go on. I mean, and sometimes on that, taking the circumstances of the situation, a little bit, sometimes it's, you try and they might say, well, they help a friend, but the question is, is it really right? Today, in the line in the supermarket, there was this lady there in front of me, and all the other lines, there are two-person in front of me, but I started talking to the lady, and she said to me, when I come to the supermarket, and there's a line, there's nothing I can do but just wait, and when you look at um when you look at the fruit of the spirit, it tells you it's love, it's joy, it's peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith,
Mhm.
meekness, temperance. You understand? And sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes you have to suffer and you have to wait a little while. You have to have patience. Patience is one of a good thing that everybody and anybody should possess, whether you are Christians and a Christian or not. Because I mean, there's nothing wrong in looking for the shortest line, but you can um you can find ways, to try to cheat the line, and it don't look good on you. You know what I mean? It don't look good on you at all. Let me just kind of backtrack there because I went into our first line to buy some food actually, and there was a basket in front of me, but I didn't see anybody around. You understand? Actually, I don't know who the basket for, so I just moved in front of the basket after standing there for a little while and the line was going up. So whilst I was there, the same lady, came and said, "Hey, excuse me, no, I was here first, eh? Our basket was there." She said, "I was here first, eh?" I said, "No problem, just take back your place in the line and continue." Right? So when we end up in the next line now to go and pay for groceries, she was there. So we started talking about the same patience thing, amazingly. No, she had a whole basket and I only had three items. In conversation, I said to her at the end, "Well, we here talking and I just have small things, so let me just cash it out." I said, "No problem, just go ahead." So if I did behave, while London, if I had behaved stupid and say, "Well, I see your basket, I ain't see you." So where was your basket is a human being now, that's the fleshy way to respond now. So your basket have foot. So how you can lay your basket on a line and tell me you there? That would have been how some people would respond. But just by being kinder, you understand? Just by being gentle,
Yeah.
yeah, that caused me even then in the next line to get to go out first. I didn't even think about it. So me, God was working on that so could I say that today so somebody could learn something. You know what I mean? And that was a good thing that
Yeah.
looked really nice today.
Because no, you see, as Christians sometimes too, we kind of use, so for example, you're a frontline worker,
Yeah.
right? You have a special pass, you know, yeah, for special pass. You home, but you have a
You know
friend.
that and you have to be honest because you know for yourself, you're just using the past as an excuse. You don't have to go
Yeah.
to work.
So hold on. So you home, right?
Hey, your
You
friend, boy.
you home. Like your friend have to go home and so, and
Yeah,
then no, to go home, to go meet up with the police.
yeah.
So you take your pass
And give it to your friend.
and give a friend like for our safety, to reach home safe and stuff and things like
Yeah.
that. Like it's kind of the purpose of you having a pass is for you
For you.
personally, right?
Yeah, not for your
And you
friend.
other and the only reason why you have that pass is because you are front and based on what you are doing. The person
Yeah.
not doing what they are doing, because if the person was doing, they would have a pass just the same way.
Mm-hmm.
So certain things that we as Christian technically is kind of wrong, just the
Wrong,
same way.
yeah. And we have
You
to
understand?
remember that God is always seen and he knows everything that's in our heart. You understand? Let's check this portion of scripture right here. Romans chapter 5 and verses 3 and 4. It says, "Not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character hope." You
Yeah,
understand? And people don't like to suffer as believers. We don't like when sometimes things are not going right. We don't like that. But the thing about character building is that God Himself wants to be the character. And how can you get strong without lifting weight? God will put you in situations to see how you would respond. Just as I mentioned a while ago, being in the line, seeing the lady basket. You might have just seen it as a normal thing, but because you become a particular way and you are a certain individual, because you allow God to work on you, your response is going to be one of love, one of kindness. You understand? And God will put us in situations sometimes just to see how we respond. You understand? The way you speak to somebody as a believer, passing on the road and not saying good morning to people. You understand what I'm saying? All them things is wrong. All them things don't look right for someone who's supposed to be letting their light shine so that men can see their good works and glorify God in heaven. The
yeah,
next thing is that we have to talk about though is when you have what we call that mixed signals. Mixed signals, Zach. You have people who, okay, you're passing the road as a young lady. You see fellas on the block and you're respectable and you're saying good morning, and somebody, taking that the wrong way. You know what I mean, Zach? Or
yeah,
vice versa. a young lady passing or a young man passing and telling a woman, "Good morning, how you doing?" And she saying, "Want tea? You want woman?" You understand? And then wonder, well, what signal is sending by saying good morning or being respectable? The other
Yeah.
person interpreting it as something totally different to what it's supposed to be. By you
Hmm.
showing just being kind and generous, or being showing what you're supposed to show as an
Yeah.
individual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And also, as a Christian, as we're talking about the, character and stuff and things,
yeah,
even the words, the choice of words we use, even the things that we say,
yeah,
you know, like, and sometimes we as Christian kind of, we technically behave a kind of hypocritically, like in the
hypocritical.
sense that,
Yeah,
yeah, in the sense that, right, in terms of, we say in terms of obscenities,
yeah.
right? We will use the world, the people in the world, they will use the obscenities and stuff and things like that. But like if something happened, they go say the word one time. But we
Yeah.
as Christians, if something happened, we use that same word, but we not so well to
But
cover up.
let's say it that way. Like a man might say the mortgage juice, for example. So he get vexed and he said the mortgage juice, right?
Hmm.
What he really trying to say, or what he really said in his heart? Did he said the mortgage juice really? What does the mortgage juice means?
Hmm.
That's what Zach trying to say.
Be,
That
be, be,
in your mind, you're actually saying what you know you're not supposed to be saying. That's
all
what I
right.
say.
So, for example, okay,
Mm,
I was here talk about earlier on. I was saying about the shops and them things. So,
yeah,
right, I hear well, for me, nobody can say they actually hear utter obscenity. Maybe I
right.
just hear people think it, but I just hear it. So I know it's obscenity because I hear people say it. I can in my mind. You
Yeah,
understand? But I never use actually utter, them sharp something. And but what I say, as Christians, even though like I watch certain Christians as well, they may not actually say the
mm,
words itself, like, okay, so something will happen, they will say murder, and they use a other word to
yeah, yeah,
facilitate it. Just
yeah,
this
yeah,
is the
yeah.
same way. And sometimes when you watch it, it's like,
That's right.
damn. All right, so they will say the thing, and they might say heck, or they
Yeah,
might say the donkey also.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like, then even if you say that, then why have to put mother in front of it just the
Right.
same way?
Yeah.
So sometimes like as a Christian, it's like we cannot be the,
Or the
it's
word
like you're saying it,
or
but
the
you're
word
using other word to
or
to cover it up.
the word that the word that is close to the bedspread or the SHEET, just
Okay.
the other way, right?
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah. So
I
we use
remember
certain.
I remember one time he had a friend of ours, well, a guy that I meet for the first time, and he came Grenada about a couple years ago. Would have been about 2000 and maybe 11 or so, and he came from Missouri in the US, and we had a concert and so on. But me and two other friends were speaking, and amongst friends, sometimes you might use a word that you would not use in a formal setting, right? And 4 years passed, 5 years passed, or even more than that, probably 9 years passed, and guy called me now, and he remembered when we had that conversation, and he said in Missouri they don't say these words because to them it's an obscene language, right? I mean, yes, the cultural difference, we could talk about that, but he felt like he could have used words because he heard believers now using a word that in where he came from is deemed an obscene word,
So
right?
he being peer
And
pressure.
he
He being
gone back home
pressured.
now, and he feel like he should be able to use these words that he not supposed to use because in Grenada the Christians just use. So he called me and told me, I said, "No, bro, that's not that's not it." You understand? He
You
said,
know.
"So you mean I said, "No, no, no, no." But it kind of showed me something that we have to be wise too, because just the same, we don't know, and things I never knew actually. I have another friend who came from the UK, and I used that word in front of her that we would use. Somebody get you upset, and then you must say, some people say, oh shoot, well, others wouldn't say oh shoot or oh shucks. You understand?
Hmm.
So you say when they say oh shooks or oh shucks, it's like you saying, well, you shouldn't even say shocks or shoot.
No,
Just
oh,
don't
me,
say
oh, oh no, no, I'm not saying that. Not that I was talking about.
nothing.
Specifically, I was talking about
But the F sharps,
no, no, not that. But sometimes I know if I, but some people say donkey. So
yeah, I like what Natty said it though.
yeah, but
He said
some
some
people,
motive behind this speech.
yeah, but I
Yeah,
was saying like some people like I witness, some people, and some it just take my back like, okay, yeah. So like something will happen, they say mother, neck, or something.
yeah,
So these things like these words and stuff like that,
yeah,
like, and especially when it happen and everything, like maybe something fall, they go say that, or
yeah,
sometimes somebody hit them and they go say that. So
yeah.
what I was saying is that happened a while now. When I heard someone say that, say technically, like it's like as a Christian, we just using that in a replacement, not just to
For not to say it,
say
and
the
that,
actual bad word and stuff and things.
and
Because
that should be
when you really watch, it's like it's so out of place in the content in which we use it in. Sometimes when we actually such it's so out of place.
mm.
We won't just say ouch if somebody lashes us. So the first thing we will say, it's so kind of out of place. And then why we have to use,
These words.
yeah, we can
Yeah,
say father, you can no, I just saying you can say father, but
yeah,
why that
use mother.
specific?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
why this specific? So sometimes like certain words we use as
Christians.
Christians,
Yeah.
yeah, could kind of um
I like this here. Nati said so. Therefore, culture, ethnicity, traditions actually pose a threat to cause pressure. Yeah, sometimes it could be, because different people communicate differently, and what we might, not do in our country, somebody else might do. But we're switching the conversation. We have a few minutes, not even more than 3 minutes to wrap up, but just about that 2.5. So Zach, let me just quickly run through something here. You understand? Um, I like this portion here from Exodus. Yeah, and it talks about false report. Thou shalt not raise a false report, but put thy hand with the wicked, not to be an unrighteous witness. And many times, people as believers, sometimes they lie for friends just because it's a friend. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And you have a situation happening and it's your friend. As a believer, you're supposed to stand, stay firm with whatever you believe. Don't allow, you know what I mean? As the next portion says, Exodus chapter 23, verse 7 says, keep thee far from false matters. Yeah. Um, and and the innocent and righteous slay not, for I will justify the wicked. That's God saying that. I mean, these were some of the things the commands or that God gave after he gave Moses the 10 commandments. If you read in Exodus chapter 23, you would see quite a bit of things there that I read and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Because this next portion here, for example, Exodus chapter 23 and verse 8 says, and thou shalt not take no gift, for the gift blinded the wise and perverted the words of the righteous. And when I think about that, I think about Christians taking bribes. Yeah? You're accepting bribes. And the thing you're accepting the bribe for, the truth is, you don't please God. I mean, you shouldn't even accept no bribe in the first place. Yeah, who you are, your character, your morals, your stand that you're taking God. Yeah, nobody should try to pressure you by giving you a gift. As a wise person, if you're wise, you're wise. Be careful because there are other persons that the enemy would use to try to trick you by giving you gift to pervert your ways. And I mean, it does happen, Isaac. It does happen, right? It does happen. And this one here that you sent for me earlier on, he says the wicked accept bribes in secret to pervert the course of justice. It's a serious thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a serious thing.
Alright, so
So,
in closing for me, my closing
mhm,
thing I would say, as Christians, we will be persecuted, right?
mhm.
No matter what, we will be persecuted.
Yeah,
As a Christian, the devil will always try his best to make it down. The devil always try his best to see you fall or so. But at the end of the day, we have to overcome. And as a Christian, the Christian life is not easy life to live, but is the
Mhm.
best life to live, right?
Yeah,
And the Bible says, in First Peter 2:9 and 10, you see, we are chosen generation, we are a priesthood, we are holy nation in a particular
mm.
people. So we as Christians, we're so beyond, we're high, we're,
Yeah.
we're royal, and
We call it a high calling we have in our
yeah.
life. You
so
know.
so so the thing is that we have to, sometimes we don't act as how God wants us to act as royal peace, of royal priesthood. We are
Hmm.
royal. We sit in high places. Our God is the King of Kings. So
Yeah.
we just have to act as king,
You have standards.
yeah.
Kings have standards, and so if you're kings, as you're saying, we're supposed to have standards, and people have to know the standards and what we stand for. You understand?
So
Yeah.
we have to be the light, and light leads.
Yeah.
So we have to be the light, and light leads. So we have to show people how to live. Many a times people watch us as Christians.
Light shows the way. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
many a times people, watch us as Christians. Because people know, like, people in the world, they know how
How
Christians
you
supposed to
supposed to
live.
live? And
Because
when you
when we
miss that,
fall, they could say, "Hey, there's a Christian,
that's why that's why I
and
can
that's
am
why doing."
a believer, and they quick to run it on. Who caused that? Yeah.
And we just have to represent Christ, lead by example, and we just have to follow as how Christ lead, represent Christ. Remember, whatever we do, it should we reflect Christ as a Christian. So whatever we do, how we live, we life, what type of conversation we have, the type of speech we have, the
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
we do,
Mm-hmm.
it represents Christ. So
By
sometimes
example.
we have to
Yeah.
think,
And
we have
teach
to, whatever we do, we
and
have to think
yeah.
as are representing Christ, are representing that King. You
Yeah.
understand? Because if we go England and stuff and things like that, so the prince and these people who represent the queen and stuff, they have to live a certain way.
Yeah.
They can't really
That's
mesh,
why when
and
they decide to
you know, so,
go out from how they're supposed to do to be, and they want to change the course of action
yeah,
in
it's
recent
a
times, they realize it's a big uproar by the
problem.
world.
So we have to act
Yeah.
as
Royal.
we're royal, we're
Yeah.
very royal and stuff and things like that. Right? So and then and just be that light. Our life should be that greatest testimony. That people may say, "Wow, I like how this person has lived their life a lot," and people be admire. And then through our life that we live, should be bringing them to Christ just the same way. Because
Yeah.
how we expect people to accept Christ, how we expect to expect if our life not portraying that in which God wants us to portray. So
Yeah.
sometimes if we live in a kind of life, or if we not displaying a right life, we can evangelize to others,
Yeah. You
evangelize to
can
others, because
evangelize. Yeah.
we're yeah, because we have a kind of like a flaw and stuff and things like that. So though sometimes your past, people that bring up your past, they make you feel condemned. Once God renew you, once God you know transform you, you're really transformed. And as Christians, sometimes we sin against God in certain things, but we know that we can go to the Father, and when we go to the Father, ask God for forgiveness, He will forgive us, and we just have to just continue to walk in that
When
right path in which God set for us.
So you have to repent when you fall, and repentance means not going back
Yeah,
to what you were doing. One thing I will add just before we leave.
constantly pray.
Yeah, one thing I will add before we leave, just to wrap up what Zach just said. First Timothy 4 and verse 12 says, let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers in word,
In
in
words.
manner of living, in charity, in spirit, in faith, and in purity. You understand?
Hmm.
That's the best scripture I could actually leave, and we could end
Yeah.
with. So whatever you
Some.
be thou an example amongst the believers, especially if
Yeah.
you're a believer. For the youth who are in school right now, and you're experiencing that kind of pressure from friends, things, you come from a Christian home, your parents grew up a particular way, they try to instill certain values and morals in you. When people try to pressure you, listen, it's not a bad thing to say you and fall into the pressure. even as adult, you're in a place the hypocrisy is happening. That's supposed to be annoying you. You're not supposed to be siding with nobody who being hypocrites. You're laughing at people, you understand, who are weaker than you. You're scorning people who are not in good situation. These are not good traits or character traits as a believer. You're supposed to have these type of things as a believer. God expects you to live a particular way. The Bible says I think it's in Psalms 1, talking about you know God doesn't look at, paraphrasing it, about you shouldn't scorn people and thing. It's a bad thing to scorn others. So you have to be able to um point people in the direction as believers that they're supposed to go. Don't allow people to pressure you in the negative, but be one that pressure people in the positive. You understand, Forsyth? So
Mm-hmm.
you have to pressure them. When they try to tell you to do wrong, you have to say, nah, we going that way. Drink rum, no, we drinking malt. You understand what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
guy, well, just drink one, nothing gonna happen. No. You understand? We ain't drinking beer, we drinking malt. You understand? Yes, we understand the Bible have it say about that and excess and so on, but you have to know better for yourself. Sometimes just for your testimony, as my favorite friend does tell me, just for the sake of your testimony, not because you could do something, mean you should do it. Sometimes for your testimony and for your light to shine. And I say, my good friend, that person know who they are, not you, Zack. You understand? I'm talking about my wife. So
I never said
I always say,
that.
she was always say, not
Yeah.
because you could,
Yeah.
you have to think about the witness you're bearing. Even the things that you share on your WhatsApp status, the things that you share with people, you have to know all of that is a representation of what you stand for. You understand? And when somebody rebuke you for it openly, you have to be willing to say, yes, I understand, I would not do it again because I see what you're saying, and let that be as a guide. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
guys, listen, I know me and Zach will continue speaking until like 8:45 and 9 o'clock, but we have to wrap up here because I must leave. You understand? So I want to say thank you to all the folks who were locked in and who enjoyed the conversation today. We probably will do it another time again, Zach, when the most I say. Guys, don't forget this Friday is going down live on Hope FM. We are having a night of prayer from 8:30 until 10:30. All right, so you can send in your prayer requests. Send it into 403-1031. We have some pastors and evangelists who is going to be joining us to be able to on the platform to pray for you. Yeah, if you're struggling with anything that you need prayer for, if you need God to heal you, to deliver you from anything, no matter what it is, just send it in and we'll make sure that you get prayed for and God will do something for you. All right. If you're struggling with fear at this point in time, you want God to help you, send in your messages to 403-1031. Now it's the time to do it because it's Friday at 8:30. We actually getting started. So be on the lookout for that. Remember to share it and thank you again. All right, Zach. Now I'm preaching. Don't look at me like that, man. What is that? So thank you to all the folks who are live, who are locked in during this last hour and 23 minutes. God bless you. Have a good evening. We out.